All right, we're moving right along here. NFL 2025 team previews. We got the Baltimore Ravens. Now, during the NFL season, I update my power ratings each week in what's called a power packet that I post inside the Discord. It allows us to create a point spread for each game and show us which teams have an edge and which don't. Throughout most of last year, I had the Ravens rated as the best team, over a touchdown better than a league average team. And honestly, anyone who does power ratings very likely also had Baltimore rated number one for most of the season. And the reason I know this is because their statistical profile was insanely good. So, no matter what metrics you use to measure teams, it would have been hard to not have Baltimore rated number one for a large part of last year. Their offensive numbers last year had them number one and number two in almost every meaningful metric. And when you adjust those numbers for opponent strength, they become even more impressive because they played one of the toughest schedules of opposing defenses. Their offense ranked number one in explosive play rate, and the Ravens' defense allowed the lowest rate of explosive plays in the league. Explosive plays are identified as run plays of 10 yards or more and pass plays of 20 yards or more. But maybe what's most impressive about Baltimore is how they never got dominated on the scoreboard. Since 2023, they've had 11 losses, and all 11 of those losses have come by 7 points or less. Um, Ravens have benefited greatly from injury luck. Fewest adjusted games lost due to injury on both sides of the ball last season, and the year before they finished third in fewest injuries. Not so sure that can happen 3 years in a row. I have Baltimore facing the 11th hardest strength of schedule right out the gate in the first 6 weeks, minus the Browns in week two. The Ravens play five teams that are priced as favorites to make the playoffs: Buffalo, Detroit, KC, Houston, and the Rams. But they do have some good stretches too. Starting week five, they won't have to board a plane or a bus for over a month, from like September 29th to early November. Then it's three straight road games followed by another three-game homestand. To end the season, they're going to have a bunch of physical divisional games with Green Bay mixed in there. With how good Baltimore was last year, I don't think they really felt desperate to make any big offseason moves, other than retaining key guys. Veteran left tackle Ronnie Stanley was probably their biggest or most important re-signing. They swapped out Nelson Aguilar for DeAndre Hopkins. Not sure what D-Hop has left in his tank, especially if you consider, KC had no interest in keeping him around. Although the reports out of camp are saying he's back and stuff, but camp reports are always positive no matter what. Not that wide receivers matter too much in this run-heavy Baltimore offense. They got double tight ends with Mark Andrews and my homeboy Isaiah Likely, who grew up and went to high school 10 minutes away from me in Massachusetts. Baltimore did fill some holes on the defensive side. Jair Alexander, he wanted to reunite with Lamar Jackson, his college teammate at Louisville. Now, assuming Alexander can stay healthy, which he doesn't really have a history of, this secondary is just loaded. In the draft, they got first-rounder safety Malachi Stark from House Stark, which now makes the entire starting defensive backfield all first-round draft picks. After Stark, their next draft pick was a steal, in my opinion. Edge rusher Mike Green from, I think it's Marshall. Not sure if that's right, but he led the nation in sacks last year and is a legit first-round talent. He slipped to round two because of some off-field rumors that scared some teams, but if you ask me, the bitch was lying. Ravens defense has talent, no question, but they need some discipline in order to limit some costly defensive penalties. Baltimore led the NFL in penalties resulting in automatic first downs last year. 45 defensive penalties led to automatic first downs. They gave up 6 automatic first downs on fourth down alone last year. That was the most in the league. And maybe for the first time ever under Harbaugh, the Ravens special teams hurt them more than helped them. They ranked bottom 3 in special teams last season. They sent Justin Tucker packing because of this. He only made 73% of his kicks. That was the third lowest rate in the NFL last season. And some of those misses were costly too. Because when misses happened in a lot of close games there. I do have Baltimore projected at 12 wins, technically 11.9. Extremely tough to bet overs on 11.5 wins for any team, any injury to Lamar, and it's likely a loss betting that over. And again, with the Ravens, they specifically might be due for some negative injury regression after being the healthiest team basically in back to back seasons. They got a big week one game versus Buffalo, and it's rare for a week one game to have like season long implications, but Ravens Bills week one could be a factor in the AFC playoff seedings, even though it's a week one game. But speaking of Buffalo, they're going to be up next. And until that time, good luck with your bets.